Welcome to episode 16 of the Carnism Debunked podcast. For today's episode, I'm joined by animal liberation music artist and songwriter Vegan Queen V, who has just released her incredible new album available on Bandcamp, Freedom Warrior, which I'll link to in the description. Today, I'm going to be talking to her about her music, among other things, and I'm going to be also playing my personal 5 favorite tracks off the album, which was tough for me to even pick because honestly, it's perhaps the most consistently good album you could listen to. And I mean it when I say every single song is excellent and of the highest musical quality. So please do buy yourself a copy and support her if you liked it. All the songs are about veganism and animal rights. So if you're vegan for the animals, you will definitely relate to every song. So V, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for that introduction. That was amazing. You can come again.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, I think you're such a very talented songwriter. And one of the things I actually wanted to ask you was sort of about your songwriting process, and were you trained in any way in how to write songs, or did that all sort of come naturally to you? Like, tell us about your sort of musical history and how you got into songwriting and how you do it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. I got into music when I was 7 years old. I picked up the violin, and then from 10 years old, the piano. Didn't physically pick up the piano,
That would be
but
hard
that
on your
those two
back.
instruments,
Sorry.
those two instruments just seemed to gel with me. And because I was playing the piano, and I was sort of 10, 11, 12 years old, listening to bands on the radio and getting CDs of bands that I loved, and I naturally started trying to play the songs I was hearing on the piano and
Hmm.
singing them. Um, and reading the music and things, all those things. And from doing that, taking somebody else's song and figuring out how it worked on the piano and how
Yeah.
it sounded similar to the song, from what I was doing, I began to write my own lyrics. And
Yeah.
I don't even know what sparked that really. It just happened, started happening, and I realized I enjoyed it. I was, good at it, whatever it is, creating something nice.
Mm.
Um, and then from then on, music's just been a really big part of my life. From university onwards, it's been sort of the main focus of my life. But even through high school, I was always in this band or doing, this musical project with my friends, or writing this song, or, so yeah, it's been a good musical upbringing, and I realize now how like lucky I was that
Do you,
pa-
yeah.
parents my parents would take me to these lessons and experience different things. It's definitely made me who I am.
Yeah. Would you say that you have some kind of like, do you have like some kind of formal training, as it were? Did you go to like some kind of musical school or anything, or was it just literally lessons when you were a kid kind of stuff with instruments?
Yeah, no, I've had quite a lot of musical training. It
Mm.
started off when I was 7, and then just my whole life has been, exams and preparing for this concert and this. And then, as I say, I went to university. I did music there, so I
Yeah.
have a degree in music and a master's in music as well. Mainly because I got to the end of my degree and had no idea what to do,
Yeah.
so
And
I did
this,
a master's.
yeah, good stuff. And this might seem an obvious answer to me, but can you tell people why specifically you write songs about veganism and animal liberation?
Yeah, that's something else that just came naturally. I went vegan about 6 years ago, 6 and a bit years ago now, um, and it was just after watching, The Land of Hope and Glory, or Earthlings,
Mm.
Dominion, all those ones. I just had to write. The world was going crazy around me. I was trying to tell them what was happening to these animals, and they were turning around and saying that I'm making it up, or that it doesn't happen here, or whatever. And so I think being able to channel the veganism, what I was feeling through the songs, like, was super helpful for me mentally. Because it was really difficult for the first few years, as I'm sure many vegans find the same thing. You get PTSD from watching that footage, and then when
Yeah.
you do try and go and tell everyone, it doesn't stand out how you think it's going to, which is just then another layer of this, like, trauma and like shock of what is going on in this world. This is not, this is crazy, basically. So yeah, the songs have been my therapy for sure, and I hope in turn that they're therapeutic for other vegans as well, who are hearing these messages and yeah, like, yes, finally somebody feels the same way as me, and put it down exactly how I feel. So hopefully it helps other people as well in that way.
Yeah, 100%. I feel that when I listen to your music, I definitely relate to the lyrics, to the music. It kind of eases your dystopia in that kind of manner. So for anyone who's
Yeah.
unaware of what dystopia is, it's that the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now, I'm going to play throughout this podcast, obviously my 5 favorite songs from the album. And we're going to play now the very aptly named Dominion. Very powerful song. I love the piano and the vocals in this song. And incidentally, it's the first track on the album. So here is the first track on Freedom Warrior, and it is called Dominion.
Did you drop me on my head? Was the damage when I fell down the stairs? 'Cause there's something I can't get my tiny little mind around. How come only I see the fear and pain in their eyes? See the value of their life comparable to yours and mine. Dominion, Dominion, we abuse our position. Dominion, it don't mean much.
that was Dominion. So yeah, brilliant song. I think one of the lyrics
Thank you.
I relate to, the most of this track would be that how come only I see the fear and pain in their eyes, see the value of their life comparable to yours and mine. That's a lyric I really identify with, because as vegan, you feel almost like you're alone in a world of apathy, don't you? So that lyric,
absolutely.
It really hits me hard when I listen to it. It's like, damn, like it's that part of the song is speaking to me.
Yeah, nice.
And did you? I assume you titled and were inspired to write that song after the documentary Dominion, or had you read the book Dominion by Matthew Scully or anything like that?
Yeah, it's weird in that neither of those things, but I actually went to see Dominion in the cinema down in London, and it's mortifying. It's just horrendous to watch. So although when I wrote Dominion, I hadn't forgotten about the documentary, but it wasn't on my mind. But it must have somehow similar as to Earthlings, isn't it? Just the footage that you see, it's just really difficult to process.
Yeah, and the next song I want to play, it's called Mother. Tell us about the inspiration for that song, Mother, because again, this is a song, I think the lyrics, when you listen to it, it could seem quite obvious for many vegans. For someone who's not vegan, maybe they might not be aware of it. So can you talk to us about that song?
Yeah, of course. Mother was written after a friend and I visited a dairy farm. My friend drove past this particular farm every day when she was taking her kids to school. And she just wanted to go and just witness these babies that were in the crates outside. So we went and we just stood and sort of watched and just sort of sent love. And we were filming a bit as well, because we obviously wanted to document and show people what happens to babies in the dairy industry. And then the farmer spotted us and basically he invited us to see into the barn. I don't really know why, but he did. Right. And inside the barn there were a few mother cows, and one particular mother cow had just given birth to a baby, and it was such a bittersweet moment. This beautiful, amazing creation, and seeing the two sort of connecting for the first time, but then knowing that happened, either the calf was male or female. So it was pretty, a weird experience. And Mother was sort of sparked from that moment. And the phrase that kind of came first was "You're so stuck in your ways." Because that's why the dairy industry still exists, because everybody's just so stuck in their ways, from the consumer to the farmer. And that line is also sung about my own mother, because our relationship is super strange, and it's because she's so stuck in her ways.
I did think that
it's a big thing for people.
Yeah, I was like, is that part of the song, which people will hear in a second, is that lyric referring also to our own parents who, we could say are stuck in their ways? Yeah. What instrument is it that's playing in the intro, that little riff for Mother? What instrument's playing there?
That's the whistle. The whole album was recorded in Scotland, in the Outer Hebrides. Right. So I've got some amazing Scottish people playing like Celtic instruments and native to that area. So I had this amazing player who also does bagpipes on this song near the ends. It's epic, but he does the whistles on there as well. They're beautiful. All
right, brilliant. Well, without further ado, we will now play that track, Mother. So everybody, this is Mother, another one of my favorite songs from the album.
If I was a mother, wouldn't wanna be a part of any other non-human family, 'cause we take away the strength she gave to birth another life, and we hide her away others are slaves. You're so stuck in your ways. 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 If I was a mother, heard my baby cry, I need to come protect you from bullets in the night. But oh, for some, the monsters they come, they're real and they're relentless. Again and again, until she's breathless. You're so stuck in your ways. 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 You're so stuck in
All right, that was Mother. Yeah, very powerful song, sad song. And you can feel a lot of anguish in that, not only because of the, as you mentioned, about the mother cows in the dairy industry, but trying to get through to people about veganism. And it's like, feels like talking to a brick wall sometimes, I guess. How successful have you been with like converting your family to veganism so far?
You know, they're tough cookies to crack, George.
Mm.
So far, not so successful. My dad did try veganuary
Yeah.
last year, so that is something. But no, to be honest, with me and my family, I've realised that I need to sort of step back because the more I sort of try and push and try and tell them the truth, the more resistant they are. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they have all the information now, and you know, they can see that I'm just continue to get happier and healthier, and I put the vegan diet down to a massive part of that. So hopefully they can see and then be inspired by that, because yeah, family's difficult.
It is difficult. You know, Gary Yourofsky always said family and friends are the hardest people to convert. Don't waste your time too much on them, because honestly, there are simply some people in our lives that just will not change. They just won't. And you have to, I won't use the word accept. Of course, it's not acceptable that people don't go vegan, but you have to come to terms with the fact that at this present time, when we're before the tipping point of social change, some people just are not going to change, and so we have to focus on the ones who will, to achieve that societal change. The next track that I want to play off your album, it's another one of my 5 favorites, is of course many people will know you for this song, and that song is What Hell Is Like. When did you write What Hell Is Like? Because this is what I would consider one of your older songs.
Yeah, for sure. What Hell Is Like was written after I watched The Land of Hope and Glory, the documentary by Earthling Ed and Serge.
Yeah.
It's just finally seeing footage from UK farms, knowing now there's evidence here. Look, this does happen in our land. Our animals in the next field are being treated this way. But yeah, it came from that really, and all the other videos I've been watching as well at the time. But that documentary was particularly inspiring, and that song again, it just kind of came out. There wasn't much thought put into it on my part. I just sat down and had to let go of something, because it was so painful to watch and to have that inside. And again, as I say, with the extra layer of, I'm telling everyone about this and nobody cares what's going on.
Yeah. No, it's a very powerful, very hard-hitting song. I think if you're vegan, it will be hard to listen to this without getting a lump in your throat, So I apologize in advance to anyone who is going to feel like they've just cut some onions after listening to this song, So yeah, next I'm going to play the brilliant and the powerful What Hell Is Like. Here it is.
Don't know what it was I did to end up in a place like this. I've heard that there is love somewhere up above, outside the hell this is. No one cares that I am me. I'm just a number on a sheet, just something to use until I'm no use, a commodity. I'm dying, struggling for air, here crying, and no one even cares. If you can hear me, please come and free me. I don't wanna die inside, this ain't a life. If you were I, you'd learn what hell is like. Someone told me that I cannot
All right, so that was What Hell Is Like. And yeah, I guess that would be that song sounds different on the Freedom Warrior album version. So were amendments made to that song when you I guess you did a more recent recording of it, maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the version that is on YouTube that a lot of people have seen, it was just I think I plugged my mic in, but then the piano is actually just the speakers from the crappy little piano that I was using at the time. So
Right.
it's an incredibly poor quality recording, but it was it's live, so there's a lot in
Yeah.
that as well.
That's the original you're referring to here, of course, not the one just now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the original YouTube.
Right.
And yeah, and I really wanted to have a nicer sounding piano on the actual track. And when you're doing things in the studio, I did do quite a few of the songs sort of live, with the piano, but you do have the opportunity to go in and edit a line if it's not quite as how you wanted it, and if it's a little out of tune. In a studio, you can do that. Obviously, when you're doing it live, it's a bit different.
Yeah. Okay. So the next song I'm gonna play is gonna be I'm gonna say slightly more upbeat. Because I think this is what you do so brilliantly. Even though every single one of your songs has such a serious message, in some of the songs on the album, in fact, probably about half of the songs, you managed to do this in almost quite like a positive, cheery sort of vibe. So the next song I want to play is a great song. It's called Awake. How do you achieve that psychologically? How does that work? Because you're writing about a very serious issue, but you managed to make it a bit sort of upbeat. So tell us about yes. How is this possible? How did you write Awake? What is the meaning of Awake, and why does it have this sort of cheery vibe, and how does it work?
Awake was written quite fast, actually. It was one of the last songs to be written for the album.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really finished it by the time I got to the studio, because I knew it was gonna be done. And it would be done when the time was, ready for it to be done. And it's got a cheery vibe to it, because I've realized that that's what we need in the world. We need positivity, and we need solutions rather than moaning about the problems.
Right.
And we need to uplift each other and empower each other, because we've been disempowered that we're all walking along blindly, and causing a lot of chaos and havoc and heartache without really even knowing, which is just bonkers. It really is. But I'm not going to tell people they're stupid, and doing it in an angry way, because that's just doesn't get anyone anywhere. So Awake, it does have this message, what is it going to take to wake you up? But I want to be part of that solution. I want to help wake you up. So I'm going to do it in a as nicest way as I can, really. And if I can make somebody want to sing along or dance along, then I've achieved what I set out to do.
Yeah, some people do need a good shake awake, though, don't they? I know it worked with me when I watched Gary's speech. I think I am one of the people that maybe an angry message did kind of work for. So I guess it's one of those those different strokes for different folks kind of thing. But in any case, absolutely. It's you definitely have a point there. That to achieve certain things in the world, sometimes we do need to make people see the positive light in things. So I'm going to play that song for everyone now. Another great song off the album, and this is Awake.
Awake, awake, awake. To do to prove to you, I swear I tell you the truth, but it's up to you. Yeah, you're stuck in this daydream. It's been awakening you from this slumber. Now you're stuck in this daydream. It's been awakening you from this slumber. Awake, awake, awake. Won't you feel real life? You'll fly so high, yeah, yeah. You're stuck in this daydream. Is then awaken you from this slumber now. You're stuck in this daydream. Is then awaken you from this slumber now. Awake, 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 awake. Won't you wake up? Awake, 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 awake. Won't you wake up? Awake, 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 awake. Won't you wake up? Awake, awake, awake. Wake up and see the people. They are free with the animals living in harmony. We can have it all so easily. When we awake, we're gonna make it our reality. Awake, 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 awake. Won't you wake up? 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 Awake, 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 awake. Wake up and see.
All right, that was Awake. Tell us what you mean by that lyric there. You're stuck in this daydream. Who are you talking to when you say that lyric?
I'm talking to the people who go along through life not questioning anything that they've been told.
We all know
and
people
they are,
like that.
yeah, and they are living in this daydream. You know, like going into
Yeah.
the supermarket and picking out a packet of sausages. That's living in a daydream because that's not reality.
Yeah.
You know, the connection with reality has been completely lost.
It's the Matrix, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's that, and obviously it's in all facets of society. You know, not least veganism and animal rights, and you know, they're just, as I say, disconnect between what we consume and what we, you know, who we say are our friends and who we say we love.
Yeah.
You know.
And had you going back to what we were talking about before I played that last song? Have you set up the album in a way that it kind of starts a bit sadder, and then towards the end you get these sort of more feelings of hopefulness and positivity?
Yeah. Oh, he's got it. Yeah, absolutely.
I like, yeah. So that's no coincidence. Then it falls like that for a purpose.
Yeah, because I mean, it's kind of like my journey. Like it started with the truth,
Right.
and the truth, like it hurts. It's heavy, isn't it? When you really learn about these things, and when you get that realization of what's happening in the world, it's really heavy. But it's important, and it needs to be said. But as I was writing the album, and you know, realizing I had to put this body of work together, I understood that yes, the truth needs to be shared, but it can't all be doom and gloom, because that is just not gonna get anyone anywhere. There needs to be some uplifting stuff and some empowerment songs, and as I say, solutions to, now you know the truth.
Yeah.
Here's what we can do about it. You know.
Yes.
And let's have a party while we're at it.
That's the thing. Like, you do feel so down and depressed and low, a lot as a vegan in this cruel, sick world. And sometimes it is nice to be able to connect with other vegans in that kind of way. And this is why I keep telling vegans, who are saying to me, George, how do you cope and stuff like that? You need to try to be more socially active, do activism events and stuff, which can get you down and stuff, but also try and meet up with vegans, go to things like the vegan camp out, go to have drinks with your vegan friends, and go to do things with each other, because sometimes it's the only way we get to connect in such a cruel world. But I'm going to play this last song now because you mentioned a moment ago, "The Truth It Hurts," and that's one of the lyrics actually in this song. So this is the last song on the album, and I think it's such a great way to end the album. I don't think you could have picked a more perfect song to end the album with. This is exactly what I meant a moment ago when I said the way the album falls is it starts with that very powerful and sad song Dominion, and now you get these more positive vibes of hope as we go towards the end of the album. So this is the song Hold On. So I'm going to play that to you now, and that is the last of my 5 favorite songs from this excellent album. So here is Hold On.
Hold on, you're strong, so strong. Hold on, for the cages will be empty. No words, yeah, the truth, it fucking hurts. Hold on, for the cages will be empty. It doesn't matter what you see on the news. It doesn't matter what the papers tell you. Oh, this white noise got everybody confused, but we know the truth, and soon they will too. So hold on, we'll see the light before too long. Hold on, the cages will be empty. It doesn't matter what you see on the news. It doesn't matter what the papers tell you. All this white noise got everybody confused, but we know the truth, and soon they will too. Soon they will too. Soon they will too. Soon they will too. Hold on. Ooh, hold on. The cages will be end, freedom for everybody. 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 Cages will be end, freedom for everybody.
All right, that was Hold On. As I say, great way to end the album. I also like the stuff in there about it doesn't matter what you see on the news, it doesn't matter what the papers tell you. So that's, I guess, a message against how people are brainwashed by the media.
It might be, George. Yes.
No. Yeah, and I guess you're talking about how the media pushes carnism and stuff there, and how all the talking heads on TV and stuff kind of say the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and how we really need to understand that a lot of the time, there's a lot of money behind this stuff.
Mm,
And it isn't always, well, it's pretty much never to do with our benefit and our sort
yeah.
of health and happiness. It's to do with money. And when you can sort of understand that, then you will understand that lyric. It doesn't actually matter what they're telling you, because the odds are they're telling you because they've got something they want to push, or there's a reason they're telling you it.
Yeah. What is your theory as to why, when you watch these like morning shows, like, This Morning and Good Morning Britain and blah, blah, blah. What is your
Mm.
theory as to why the Piers Morgans and the whoever's, why do they all say the same thing and have like the same opinion about veganism? You go on this show, when they get an animal rights activist to go on these shows, there's never like, one of the interviewers is an animal rights activist as well, and they're agreeing with all their points. Why do all of the talking heads in the media just say the same shit, basically? What's your theory about that?
Well, I mean, it's a TV show, isn't it? It's a show, so it's scripted, and they're kind of told what to say. So I think to actually a big part of it, they are just repeating what they're being told.
Do you think there's some darker forces at work, though, perhaps? Do you think, like, I don't know, they have maybe these shows, whatever, maybe have ties and sponsors to certain things, so they're specifically told to push like propaganda and anti-vegan stuff, and they're told specifically not to show veganism in a positive light? Or do you think that I'm
No,
in?
I think you're definitely along the right lines for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I know that veganism is kind of now, it's sort of being linked with the Bill Gates and growing the meat in labs and stuff. So it's our
Yeah.
job to make sure that people understand that that's a very different thing from animal rights and veganism. Because there is always an agenda, because that it's a money making system,
Yeah.
and it works on very many different levels.
I
TV
yeah.
is a powerful tool for them, because it's in everybody's home, and they can basically, it's called programming. It's a program. It's said that for
Yes.
a reason.
Yeah, and I always found it funny how carnists always push the idea of this is the new world order and this is propaganda and stuff like that. Like, do they not
Yeah.
realize the level of propaganda and stuff that they've been pushing on us throughout our whole lives? It's like
Yeah.
they don't even see it, because how familiar are you with Dr. Melanie Joy's work on carnism?
Pretty familiar, yeah.
Yeah,
I've read a book or two of hers, and I've listened to some webinars and that. She's
yes.
amazing.
So you are very familiar. Excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
she mentions about how when carnism is the dominant belief system, when any
Mm,
belief system is the dominant ideology,
yeah.
anything else that gets mentioned is kind of seen as like the outside and the ones forcing their beliefs, but they don't
Yeah.
realize that they're the ones who are actually forcing an ideology, and that it is an ideology that they're pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that, it sort of comes back round to this, people just not questioning what they've
Yeah,
been told. And yeah, they push things that they don't even realize that they've not actually, it's not them. It's just
yeah,
something that they've been told. It's a belief system that's been passed on to them,
yeah.
which makes it the whole level more of craziness.
Exactly. Now, aside from your music, which I think is a very powerful way of getting the message across, and you do it so brilliantly, do you do any other forms of activism, or are you just focusing on your songwriting at the moment?
I mean, what I'm doing now, George, is just kind of being as free as I can and
Yeah,
leading by example wherever I can. Like now, I walk around without any shoes because I think it's quite important that we get that connection back with the earth beneath us. I think we're recharged from the ground, and if we are constantly wearing rubber between our skin and the soil, then we're losing that connection. Another connection lost. What a surprise. So things like that while swimming, and I'll post on my Instagram pictures of me doing that, and with friends, and foraging. I'm a big forager now, and I'll just again post just to try and inspire, because these are all things that will empower people again. Foraging is free, and it is literally everywhere. Like nettles are everywhere, dandelions are everywhere, blackberries are everywhere at the moment. Everyone can forage, and it's free food, and you can't buy that freshness in the supermarket.
Yeah, I've got some blackberries growing outside my house right now, actually. Although I took one off yesterday, it was little bit sour, so I might have to let it brew for a little bit.
Be patient, yeah. So yeah, it's not activism per se, but I feel moved and inspired now to just be as free as I want to be, and I think it's giving people the confidence to do the same.
Yeah.
And as I say, when people are empowered, then all this, they're not going to want to eat animals anymore when they know the truth and they understand, what's actually been going on.
Yeah. And with regards to your album, I'm wondering if there's a sort of activism-based message in the way that you're actually selling it, because you're only selling it on Bandcamp. Is that correct? You're not selling it on any of the major platforms. Why is that?
Yeah, well, it's kind of to do with what we were talking about before with the media. It's just a small handful of companies or even people who control everything, and it's not something I want to have any part of anymore.
Yeah.
So wherever possible, I don't want to, I don't want to be putting my business on there. I don't want to be earning money for them, through my music.
Yeah.
So, and with Bandcamp, it is somewhere that people can go online and get it, because not everybody wants a CD. And it gives you that personal connection because you see their email and they can leave you a little note if they want as well, which is really nice. And then I get most of the money. I get like, for an £8 album, I get like £6.50 or something.
Oh, okay, so it actually works out the best for you as an artist anyway. Kind of
yeah, totally. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely behind Bandcamp. If I have to be behind anything online, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people have realised by listening to that album, and as I say, folks listening, that was just my 5 personal favourite songs off the album. You might have very different choice in track. There's like 11 songs or so on the album, aren't there?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And each one is good. It is, honestly, folks, it's a very consistently excellent album. So please do head to Bandcamp and buy that. I will put the link there in the description. And I was going to say, just because it's so consistently good, I wonder if you didn't write it about something that was so unmarketable, like animal rights and veganism. Unfortunately, it is unmarketable in this world where everyone's eating animals. I wonder if these songs were written about something completely different. Could it be a famous album? Because it's that good. It honestly is that good an album, and that's one of the the big respect to you for that, because it's like you're not doing this for fame or anything like that. Although it would be great if the album did get famous, because obviously we want the message to get across. But just because your music speaks to you so much, and you can really tell that you've put a lot of heart and passion into every song.
Yeah, I mean, the studio that I recorded the album in is just so inspiring to work in.
Yeah,
like you're in the Outer Hebrides, like nobody else is really around. You're looking out onto the sea. The live room is just beautiful, and the 2 people in the studio, Carl and Pete, they're just the best guys to work with. So the whole experience, along with a bit of weed, obviously, was just magical, And I've been doing music professionally my whole adult life, and I've never had a better experience than working with those guys in that studio.
Yeah. It's a very picturesque setting where you wrote the whole album.
Though. Yeah. Yeah, well, I was looking for a vegan producer for about 6 months, and I gave up in the end, because I was like, you know what? Even if producer is vegan, the odds of them putting it on the internet, on their website, it's not that high, is it? Like, most producers probably would want to keep that a bit quiet so that they get more work. So in the end, I just opted for the studio, because I was traveling around Scotland anyway. I was like, it'd be a nice part of the trip. And at least it'll be a beautiful place to record it in. But then, so when I got there, like Pete, the guy who owns the studio, like, he was pretty much vegetarian, and then by the end of the week he was vegan.
Great work.
Yeah,
Great
well, I
stuff.
mean, because when you are like working on the songs so like deeply, so closely, I mean, I think you have to take the messages to heart. I think to
Yeah.
to a degree.
Well, great job with that, and that's just proof that your music can be activism, because there's so many people who say stuff like, I don't have time to be active and blah blah blah. But everyone has some kind of talent, and you can use your talent as a form of activism. And the proof's in the pudding, just there. You've made someone go vegan firsthand by working with you on this
Yeah,
album. So great job there.
thank you.
We're coming to the end now, V. So where can people catch you? Because you're doing like little tours and stuff around the UK performing this, aren't you? So did you want to speak to us a little bit about that just before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I've got a few festivals through September. You can go onto my Instagram to see what those are, where they are, a
Hmm.
few events, and then in October I'm going to be in Scotland. So I haven't actually arranged any shows yet, but it's my plan to arrange two or three whilst I'm up there.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, I'm hoping to do a European tour next year. So just being open to that, and yeah, being open to what comes in and how it all
yeah,
flows. But yeah, I'm excited. It's been an absolute pleasure to play my songs all summer. And me and my friend Ailsa, who's backing me now on guitar and cajon, she's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, we had a gig in Bidlington last night, and it was just Sunday night even. It was just so beautiful, and we've done about 15 shows together now, and we're really finding our stride with it. So I'm excited to just keep on going and keep sharing the messages, and as I say, like seeing how like we're living as well. I live in a van now, and
yeah.
I've got like a proper good tan, and I'm happy so much more of the time. I'm happy all the time now. Whereas as I think a lot of people have and do, suffered with lots of mental health stuff and
Yeah.
food stuff and body confidence stuff, and I'm just kind of elevating out of all of that, and veganism is one of the biggest keys to doing that.
Well, that's great to hear. And yeah, thank you so much for coming onto the show today, V. And I'm
Thanks for having me.
yeah, no worries, and I'm glad you let me play my five favorite tracks there, and I hope that can get a few people to buy the new album. So thanks for listening, everyone. Please go to Bandcamp. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoyed those songs that I played, and I hope that you think that it's a really good album. I certainly do, and we will see you next time.